Genesis 30. When Rachel saw that she could not give Jacob children, she became jealous of her sister. She said to Jacob, "Give me children or I'll die." Jacob became furious with Rachel and exclaimed, "Am I in the place of God who has kept you from having children?" She replied, "Here is my servant Bilhah. Sleep with her so that she can bear children for me, and I can have a family through her." So Rachel gave him her servant Bilhah as a wife, and Jacob slept with her. Bilhah became pregnant and gave Jacob a son. Then Rachel said, "God has vindicated me. He has responded to my prayer and given me a son." That is why she named him Dan. Bilhah, Rachel's servant, became pregnant again and gave Jacob another son. Then Rachel said, "I have fought a desperate struggle with my sister, but I have won." So she named him Naphtali. Then when Leah saw that she had stopped having children, she gave her servant Zilpah to Jacob as a wife. So Leah's servant Zilpah gave Jacob a son. Leah said, "How fortunate!" So she named him Gad. Then Leah's servant Zilpah gave Jacob another son. Leah said, "How happy I am, for women will call me happy." So she named him Asher. At that time, the wheat harvest, Reuben went out and found some mandrake plants in the field and brought them to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, "Give me some of your son's mandrakes." But Leah replied, "Wasn't it enough that you've taken away my husband? Would you take away my son's mandrakes too?" "All right," Rachel said, "he may go to bed with you tonight in exchange for your son's mandrakes." When Jacob came in from the fields that evening, Leah went out to meet him and said, "You must sleep with me because I have paid for your services with my son's mandrakes." So he went to bed with her that night. God paid attention to Leah. She became pregnant and gave Jacob a son for the 5th time. Then Leah said, "God has granted me a reward because I have gave my servant to my husband as a wife." So she named him Issachar. Leah became pregnant again and gave Jacob a son for the 6th time. Then Leah said, "God has given me a good gift. Now my husband will honor me because I have given him 6 sons. So she named him Zebulun. After that, she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. Then God took note of Rachel. He paid attention to her and enabled her to become pregnant. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. Then she said, "God has taken away my shame." She named him Joseph, saying, "May the Lord give me yet another son." After Rachel gave birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, "Send me on my way so that I can go home to my own country. Let me take my wives and my children whom I have acquired by working for you. Then I'll depart because you know how hard I've worked for you." But Laban said to him, if I have found favor in your sight, please stay here. For I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me on account of you. He added, "Just name your wages. I'll pay whatever you want." "You know how I worked for you," Jacob replied, "and how well your livestock have fared under my care. Indeed, you had little before I arrived, but now your possessions have increased many times over. The Lord has blessed you wherever I worked. But now, how long must it be before I do something for my own family too?" So Laban said, "What should I give you? You Don't need to give me a thing, Jacob replied. But if you agree to this one condition, I will continue to care for your flocks and protect them. Let me walk among all your flocks today and remove from them every speckled or spotted sheep, every dark-colored lamb, and the spotted and the speckled goats. These animals will be my wages. My integrity will testify to me later on when you come to verify that I've taken only the wages we agreed upon. If I have in my possession any goat that is not speckled or spotted, or any sheep that is not dark-colored, it will be considered stolen. Agreed, said Laban. It will be as you say. So that day Laban removed the male goats that were streaked and spotted, all the female goats that were speckled or spotted, all that had any white on them, and all the dark-colored lambs, and put them in the care of his sons. Then he separated them from Jacob by a 3 days' journey, while Jacob was taking care of the rest of Laban's flocks. But Jacob took fresh-cut branches from poplar, almond, and plane trees. He made white streaks by peeling them, making the white inner wood in the branches visible. Then he set up the peeled branches in all the watering troughs where the flocks came to drink. He set up the branches in front of the flocks when they were in heat and came to drink. When the male sheep mated in front of the branches, they gave birth to young that were streaked or speckled or spotted. Jacob removed these lambs, but he made the rest of the flock face the streaked and completely dark-colored animals in Laban's flock. So he made separate flocks for himself and did not mix them with Laban's flock. When the stronger females were in heat, Jacob would set up some branches in the troughs in front of the flocks, so they would mate near the branches. But if the animals were weaker, he did not set up the branches there. So the weaker animals ended up belonging to Laban, and the stronger animals to Jacob. In this way, Jacob became extremely prosperous. He owned large flocks, male and female servants, camels, and donkeys. All right, let me get caught up on chat. You know the drill. You're getting up, but you're listening. Yep. Papstio. My kids had a good memory. He can recite all of Jacob's children in birth order. Wow, yeah, I can't do that. All of Jacob's children, let's call them chess pieces. Could be. You forgot about the girls. He can name the sons. Yeah, Dinah is the daughter in the end there of Leah's children. And she's mentioned because she's important later, but there are perhaps other daughters that come along who aren't important in the story, so they don't get mentioned. You're just training him to name his grandsons. There you go. If he has 12 tribes, I'm just going home to heaven. I don't make that much. Yeah, you don't want, I'm thinking you don't want 12 sons. That's not it. No. Your brother has 7 kids with 3 women, and I was like, how can you keep up with that? No doubt. If someone's in the kitchen with Dinah, someone in the kitchen, I know. Okay, let's back up here. So, we had in the last chapter the rivalry between sister wives. Okay, if anyone ever tells you that having 2 spouses of any kind is a good plan, I'm like, this just seems awful. This seems horrible. Like, I read this story and it becomes a competition. Leah knows that dad tricked her husband into marrying her. Like, she wasn't the planned wife. She is not even plan B. She is, you got duped wife. husband is rarely going to give her attention and love. Time to run to school? Okay. Rachel, however, is loved. Rachel could do no wrong. So she is having to fight with her sister once she gets to a level of she's providing sons and I'm not doing that. So we continue. Rachel pleading with Jacob to give her a son. And he's like, I'm not in the place of God. Like, I can't do this. Like, I'm not the one in charge here. God is the one who allows for you to become pregnant. Why are you blaming me? So she goes with the plan B, which we've seen before not turn out well. Let me give you my servant, and you can have a child through my servant. Now, Sarah and Abraham try to do this with Hagar, and then at a point, it becomes a disaster. Here, it doesn't seem to be as much of a disaster, but it just escalates the problem. So she does, in fact, conceive with Bilhah, and Bilhah has a son and names him Dan. Okay, let's see if we can figure out what Dan means. He judged, he vindicated. So Dan means he vindicated. So I have been vindicated as a wife because there is an heir for me. Now, it's surrogate, and that doesn't matter, okay? It is Rachel's son. Bilhah became pregnant again and gave Jacob another son, Naphtali. Okay, what does Naphtali mean? My struggle. Because he has seen my struggle, and I have won. So, okay, this is a problem when you're winning the battle of having children. Leah sees what her sister did. It's like, two could play at that game. Here's my servant Zilpah. And so then she has Gad. Gad means good fortune. Then Leah's servant Zilpah gave birth to another son. So both servants have two children. Named him Asher. Happy one. I'm going to be so happy. I have 4 sons already. I've just gotten 2 more. This is great. I'm winning. Now we have Reuben, the oldest son, going out, and he happens to find mandrakes when he is out during the wheat harvest in a field, and he brought them. So he finds them, and he brings them to his mother. So mandrake plants were popular belief is an aphrodisiac in the culture of the time. Not just an aphrodisiac, but maybe an aid also in fertility. So think about this for a minute. Imagine Solomon's family life. Whew, I don't want to do that. I don't know how old of a boy here, but it seems like he's working for 7 years for for Leah's labors. So we're in that 7-year period of time. So maybe he's a 6-7-year-old boy going out into the wheat harvest, find some mandrakes. Okay, maybe he's a little older than that. Maybe our timelines are a little off when this happens. But he goes out somewhere, let's just say between 5 and 12 years old, and he finds mandrakes and he brings them home to mom. So mom can have relations with dad. Like, this just seems like a weird thing for your kid to be bringing home an aphrodisiac to you. Now, maybe he doesn't fully understand and all of that, but he finds these. He knows that they're a valuable thing. He brings them to mom, and sister sees this, and sister wants to buy them. And the exchange of giving me the mandrakes is so you get to sleep with him. Like, how is this set up normal? Was it only Rachel who is getting to sleep with him on a regular basis because she's the loved wife? And so it is actually selling wages whenever I don't know how this whole situation worked. I'm just pointing out, this seems like there must be some kind of default there that he's staying in the tent with Rachel probably most of the time. So, she becomes pregnant again a 5th time, and his name is Issachar. Issachar means man of reward. So she's been rewarded. Then she became pregnant a 6th time and names him Zebulon. That's a fun name to say. Zebulon apparently means honor. So Jacob has 12 sons. half of them are from Leah. The other two servants, concubines, each have 2 children, and then Rachel will eventually have 2 children. We get Dinah thrown in here, or Dinah, and she's mentioned because it's important later on in the story to know that which of the wives she is from, to know which are her full brothers. So her full brothers are the oldest ones. Her full brothers are Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Those, and then the 2 that were just born, Zebulun and Issachar. I never remember those 2 being born there. Okay, and then Rachel finally becomes pregnant, and this is a language that often happens when someone has been barren, unable to consume. Welcome in, Jones. Is that the Lord has now taken notice of. So, here it is. God took note of Rachel. So it's not, and it's usually the word remembered, but it's not remembered as in forgot. It's remembered as in the process of calling to mind. It's not in the process, oh, I just remembered I was supposed to go do something. No, it is, he is calling to mind the person. So it's like if I want to recall a memory of some event, I want to think about someone, I want to contemplate and think about them. It is, I'm bringing to the forefront of my mind this person, I'm paying attention to them, and she becomes pregnant. So then my shame has been taken away. Now, we don't have the birth of the youngest yet, but we will see what happens. Okay, so then we have Jacob and Laban now negotiating, because Jacob's like, hey, I paid my wages, and I'm on my way. So that's what I was saying is, like, the story might have concluded of all of the children, but not all of those children might have been born in that 7-year period of time. Okay, it certainly could be possible that there were. You have 4 and a gap, and then 3 more. But that's really a hard-pressed gap if that's all in a 7-year period of time. So I think this continues into the next 7 years, but we just put all of those births in there in that section as we were talking about the children and the war between the 2 of them. So I think we're backing up here in the timeline, and the wages are done. And now what am I going to do? I want to go home. I want to go back to, and Laban's like, yeah, I by divination, I figured out God has been blessing you. You ain't leaving, my friend. How can I get you to stay? Or perhaps I have grown rich and the Lord has blessed me. Oh, I thought this was on the, I have learned by divination. Why is, or perhaps, okay. Anyway, it would not seem out of the ordinary for me for this to be divination, because we know later on that Laban has household idols. So there are household idols later on. So divination would not be a surprising thing, that he would have tried to figure out, why am I being, oh, God is blessing you. So Laban may be worshiping God. He may also be worshiping idols. He may be doing a mixture of the two. Whatever works is what he is going to do. If God is here blessing, I want a part of that, even if I'm not following him. So name your wages. I'll pay whatever you want. So Jacob figures out, I can't state something clearly because I will get taken advantage of. So I'm going to do something different. I am going to identify my flock only by what they have for, hair on them. So all of the speckled, the spotted, every dark colored lamb. So we have speckled and spotted. So instead of being a solid coat, anything that's speckled and spotted is what he is going to be claiming. Let's see what the footnote says here. Every black lamb and every dark sheep among the lambs. Okay. Spotted and speckled among the goats. Okay, so my wages are going to be all of the sheep that are not the normal ones. They're going to be the other ones. Now, I think he must know this going in, because when he goes to the next section, so he's been working for 14 years, and Jacob cuts fresh branches from the poplar, the almond, and the plane trees. I don't know what that is, and they didn't give me a footnote there. So he's peeling the bark. He is allowing them to have this within the water. So my thought is there must be something basic in the plants that when they're in the water and the sheep and the goats are drinking the water from these branches in the water, they are going to change the pigmentation of the fur, of the wool. And so he knows this. He's figured it out, and he's going to do this. Now, what's interesting is it gets down to if it is a sheep in heat that is a big and strong sheep, he does this. If it's a weakling sheep, he doesn't do it. Why? He is taking the best of the flock and building a bigger and better flock from there. On another level, if you give birth to one sheep at a time, you might be a smaller sheep. If you're able to give birth to multiple or goats as well, I don't know what they have for litters like cats and dogs, but I'm assuming that they would have twins being a possibility. Yeah, Jacob took the odd-looking ones. Yeah, he took the odd-looking ones, and he begins to multiply them. How does Jacob know this? I don't know. But this certainly is, he becomes a trickster. And then he owns large flocks, male and female servants, camels, and donkeys. He is becoming so wealthy here that he has servants in addition to the ones that are his wife's servants, and he has camels, and he has donkeys. So he's multiplying his wealth here. God is blessing him. That's what we're to see. God is blessing him, and Laban is trying to steal the blessing, and Jacob has figured out a way to get out from under the thumb of Uncle Laban and not have that happen to him. So, any other thoughts, questions there on what we got going on today? Let me just peek over here, what we're supposed to go through. 31, okay. And we weren't going to be done. I just wanted to see. Okay. We got a minute before ads come in. Oh, the word Laban means white and takes all the white sheep. Does it? Oh, let's go look that up. I don't remember looking up Laban. Laban. Wow.
H 3837. Laban.
Archie, I hadn't noticed that. I'd never noticed that. So his name means white. He gets all the white sheep and the solid color goats. I'm not assuming all the goats are white, but all the solid color goats. Yeah, you think Laban has a thing for the color white. That way makes sense. That makes some sense. It also could be one of these things where, you know, the Bible, people's name meanings come from something about them. Maybe it comes from the fact he's taken all of the white sheep. Interesting.